Hey, what's up, you guys? Bloody Jacob here to bring you my weekly review of the CW's The Vampire Diaries. This week we've seen Season 7, Episode 14, which was called Moonlight on the Bayou. And, so I'm kind of trying to jam this in before work. I still have to watch the originals episode, which kind of followed up this crossover thing they're doing. I'm really excited to watch that. I'll probably be watching it late tonight and getting the review out to you guys soon after that. But I did want to get you my thoughts on The Vampire Diaries, part of it in particular, first at least. And overall, I thought it was a pretty good episode. It set up, the crossover thing they're hyping really well. I thought they've been playing that pretty well so far. Of course, the highlight was seeing Klaus and Stefan interact again. But this episode actually contained some other parts, just singular to the Vampire Diaries story right now, too. So overall, it's actually a pretty solid episode by itself. Even minus the crossover stuff, which again was the highlight, but still good episode with the other stuff too, I thought. At the beginning, we have a 3-year flash forward, as we've been getting a lot lately. We see Caroline, she gets to New Orleans with Josie and Elizabeth, of course, Alaric's babies, Alaric's kids, and then she asks for Klaus Michelson, and apparently he's been gone, or he hasn't been heard from or seen for 3 years. And that makes you ask a lot of questions. It kind of does tie into the original storyline, the current threat there, I think, with the prophecy and stuff. Obviously, I don't think Klaus is dead. At least not for good, anyway. But, I think it is trying to make you worry, what if he's the Michelson that was killed or something like that? No, I don't think so. I think there's probably something else going on that's going to fit into the storyline. On the original side of things when we see it. But still, I think that was a good thing to make us, think a little bit, again, a thing to make us ask questions. So I like that, it was fine. Of course, Stefan's on the run. He stops at a gas station, to get a new phone charger. And Raina is just, blazing on behind him, he has maybe a few minutes when he stops anywhere before she gets there and tries to kill him. So yeah, it's kind of with Caroline on this one, not Caroline, but Valerie, asking why the hell did he stop? But yeah, we get a good scene of Stefan, getting away from her at the gas station, the sword going through the door, but not quite enough to get to him when she threw it. So it was pretty intense. So it looks like he left his phone behind, or he left the charger at least, I don't know. Anyway. We also learn a good amount about Enzo in this episode, like why he's been going into the Raina stuff, why he's been doing all this with Damon and Bonnie, and that turns out is because he's actually a part of this armory, as they call it. And basically they collect like ancient, dark items and stuff like that, and they want Raina as part of that. And basically that's a complete means to an end for them. They don't really care who gets killed. They just want to get her for themselves. And what's in it for Enzo is that the leader, or at least the main lady that's talking to him, she says she can tell him about his parents and give him information about that. So we find out a little more why Enzo's getting involved with all this in the first place. It gets into more of that later, which we'll talk about in a couple minutes. We also see Alaric, he goes to see Caroline in the hospital, saying he wants to leave for Texas, with the kids and stuff, because that's what Joe wanted to do when they were first getting married, or when they were going to get married anyway. They agreed to leave, to give themselves a better life, or give their kids a better life, away from vampires left and right and things like that. But it's obvious that Caroline has grown an attachment to the kids, because she gave birth to them and stuff like that. And we have more of an Alaric and Caroline moment later on, which I'll get into a little bit more again when we get to it. Stefan does end up making it to New Orleans, and of course we get the scene that we were seeing in the promos and the previews and stuff like that. And of course he meets Klaus at this bar, and the bar is one we see a lot of the characters frequent on the originals. Like, we've had plenty of like Klaus and Camille scenes there, Marcel, stuff like that. So it was good seeing them initially reunite, because him and Stefan actually do have a pretty long history together. If you guys remember all the flashbacks, and especially I think it was season 3 of the Vampire Diaries. So there's a lot to go back on there. Of course, they kind of both like check in with each other. Stefan doesn't ask many questions about what Klaus has been up to, and Klaus is sort of like dancing around it. He doesn't want to tell Stefan all about it right now. But it's kind of picked up on pretty quickly that Stefan is dating Caroline, and Klaus is asking about Caroline and stuff like that. So there's that. That was really cool. Nora and Mary Louise are actually captured by the chick from the armory, and it looks like they're actually making up. They're kissing and stuff, and then just boom, they're both taken out. I was actually hoping like Mary Louise would just die or something. I kind of like Nora, but I could do it without Mary, but we'll see where it goes. But they're not dead, so we'll see what they do with them. Let's see. And Damon and Bonnie end up going to the army to look into the Reina thing, and Enzo actually ends up knocking both of them out and taking them in. He puts Damon in this little room with Tyler, whose body they also took, but it's purely for the werewolf part of him. Once he turns and stuff, they're probably just gonna kill him too. And so it's kind of ironic that Damon's put in with him, because of course you remember what Damon did to him when he thought he burned Elena and stuff. And they're planning on keeping Damon locked in there, until the moon rises, and then Tyler will kill him, of course, being in werewolf form. We do get a moment between Bonnie and Enzo here. Bonnie's sort of questioning him about, his motives for doing this. She gets him wanting to find out about his parents initially, but then she realizes, but they're the people that left you in the first place. They left you there to live on your own for 14 years of your life as a kid, and then this and that happened, and he was basically alone until he was turned into a vampire by Lily when he was around 27 or so. So really, what would it be worth just knowing them, you know what I mean? Just knowing who they are, what would it do? Because obviously they didn't care about being involved with him in the first place. And I'm starting to pick up on that Bonnie and Enzo chemistry a little bit more again. As I've said in other videos, it doesn't feel the most unnatural, I think the actors do have good chemistry together, and it's definitely a lot less awkward than Caroline and Alaric right now, but again, we'll get into that in a minute. Or a few minutes, whatever. We also have a Damon and Bonnie moment later on, but it's a different type of thing, but again, we'll talk about it in a minute. Let's see. Bonnie ends up knocking out Enzo because she does really care so much about Damon. Her first instinct is to actually jump up and help him, and she actually manages to knock Enzo out. And I thought that was a little bit cheap that Enzo just turned around and Bonnie was just able to knock him out with a lamp. I mean, I know her magic was subdued and stuff, but was Enzo really that easy to take down just with a lamp, walking a few feet and just hitting him over the head? Really, I don't know. But I guess you kind of gotta let it slide. I like the look of my hair today. Let's see. Klaus, is sort of questioning about why Stefan's there. Stefan's sort of saying, because, family drama, I'm here in this bar where, magic can't really locate me, specifically being here, because, family drama, I don't want Damon to know where I'm at and stuff like that. And, Klaus, he's not that dumb, he kind of figures out there's something more going on, and then he sees the hunter's mark on Stefan's chest. And then, of course, Klaus being around for as long as he has, he knows exactly what it is. He knows exactly who Reina Cruz is. And, he's just pissed at Stefan. Not because he's so afraid of Reina for himself, but because of everyone else he cares about here now. And that the fact that if she's there, everyone is going to be under threat, because this is a city full of vampires, And so he actually pretty much just kicks Stefan out. We also get a Klaus and Caroline phone call, which of course goes back on the Caroline things that people still want. They still want Klaus and Caroline together. And I don't know, I think it's still possible in a way, maybe, if they really wanted to. But I'm fine with Caroline not being on the originals, please. I'd rather see Klaus further on with that Cammy in the end, or maybe Haley if they're going to go down that road again at some point. I don't know. I'd rather have that before Caroline. But, I do think the characters have, something they can play off of each other once in a while. I do think they have a certain chemistry, but I don't know if they should be in the long run. I'm not sure. But it was still a nice moment nonetheless. It was over the phone. But, Klaus sort of gives her his sympathies because he had heard about her mother dying a while ago, Liz and stuff like that. And you can tell Caroline does still have a little bit of a pull to him. So I thought they did that really well. Again, even though they weren't there in person, you could kind of feel that same chemistry or that same tone back when he was around, in season 3 and 4 and stuff. So I thought that worked pretty well for that moment. To free Damon, Bonnie actually ends up cutting off Enzo's hand to get him to, to scan the thing downstairs to open the door. And Tyler ends up, Damon had injected some stuff into him to slow down the transformation, but Tyler ends up, pretty much turning anyway, or semi-turning. And, he attacks Damon. Damon's able to hold him off a little bit, and then he attacks Bonnie. He's still kind of in humanoid form, keep in mind. He attacks Bonnie, hits her head against the glass, and Damon's pissed at her, and he gets Tyler to go because he has enough self-control again before he kills him. And you could just tell how just legitimately, angered he is by anyone hurting Bonnie. And I just thought that was really nice. I'm tired of seeing Bonnie's head get hit against the wall and seeing blood, streak down and stuff. That's sad. I'm tired of that. I like Bonnie. Anyway. Damon tries to heal her, of course. The blood's not working. And we'll get to another scene about them later. And then the lady behind the armory, she tells Enzo that his father actually founded the armory, and that apparently her and Enzo are related. I'm not sure if she's like a sister of some kind, or just like a distant relative in a way. It would be. Not a sister, what am I thinking? Because she's not a vampire, she's still a human, I'm pretty sure. But still, they're kind of connected in their family line and stuff, so that should bring up an interesting dynamic for Enzo. And he was at first, just leaving the organization, and he's finally saying that it wasn't really worth it. But then, of course, he does that to pull him back. So we'll see where it goes. Let's see, I have about 20 minutes before I have to leave for work. I have to get this uploaded. But, let's see, Caroline's going to be staying late at Alaric's. And we get a moment, and it's weird. The Caroline and Alaric thing still really is awkward. But at the same time, I thought in this scene where Caroline says you're going to stay the night at Alaric's, I actually thought that was kind of a touching scene, I thought that was a little bit of a nice moment. On the way Alaric looks at her, it seemed like he was kind of seeing something in her too, I don't know. And, flash forward, apparently they do get together, I don't know. We haven't actually seen that on screen yet, we don't actually see the details of that, but I don't know, it does feel a little bit weird. I'd rather have Joe be resurrected or Alaric find someone else, but maybe it won't be the worst thing. Maybe the characters will have a chemistry together. I don't know. But I'd rather them stop just having the characters be with every other character. You know what I mean? Like Caroline's with Damon. She's with Stefan. She's with Klaus, sort of. She's with Tyler. She's with Matt. I'm tired of all the maneuvering. You know what I mean? So maybe so maybe Caroline and Alaric wouldn't be the worst possible thing as we're all thinking. But again, just stop. Pick one and keep it there. I'm trying to be optimistic about, yes, the Alaric and Caroline thing still is weird, but we'll see what they do with it. A really nice scene between Damon and Bonnie, or Damon being at Bonnie's bedside, saying how much he cares about her, and I thought it was a really nice and beautiful scene, and Bonnie wasn't even awake for it. And again, of course, I do think Damon's going to be reunited with Elena in the end whenever the series is over. But until then, he needs to be happy, and it's weird, the only other character I've seen him have a chemistry with isn't that weird girl from Julian's Fight Club, it's Bonnie. Since throughout the whole series there have been little signs, I thought. Again, it's weird because, she's Elena's best friend and stuff, but Elena wanted Damon to live and be happy, and Bonnie's the only one he actually has that type of chemistry with. But it looks like Bonnie's going to be with Enzo, so it's a little bit confusing, but they're still focusing on Damon's hand being on Bonnie, so I don't know what they're doing. But it is a really strong friendship, and I can live with it either way, but still, you can't not watch these shows. I mean, you can't watch these shows and not think about those things. At least a little bit. And, Klaus also ends up saving Stefan from Reina. And he kills Reina, but of course she's going to come back eventually. Those so many lives she has from the sacrifices when she was younger, or when she first started out. But Klaus temporarily kills her, and he's going to take her to see a witch, which is actually going to end up being Freya, which is going to be really cool. Klaus was sort of got to do that by Caroline seeing her again, and he realized it was kind of the right, not seeing her again, but talking to her again. He realized it was kind of the right thing to do to help out with Stefan. But yeah. So, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I know it's a little bit longer. I know it's sort of rushing at the end, but pretty good episode of the show. Of course, highlight being Klaus, but there are some other good moments mixed in there for the show, for TVD itself, I thought. And I will be watching the originals portion of this crossover when I get home tonight, getting a review out to you guys as soon as I can. It'll probably be pretty late if it is tonight, though. But so I hope you guys enjoyed the video. You can follow me on Facebook, Twitter, MoviePilot, and look for InSpoiled.com. Catch you guys next time, and peace.